Hey, Facebook. Hi, it's Friday. I'm so excited. It was just telling me I didn't have a strong enough connection to go live, and I'm like, you're lying. You're lying. My connection's just fine, and so I'm going to make sure that I get some people on here with me because I'm going to do something fun today that I've never done before. And so I'm getting ready to film a podcast. And for those of you who don't know what a podcast is, listen, I live on podcasts, okay? So while a lot of people like to relax with magazines and television, I like doing podcasts. And so, hey guys, welcome. Would you guys just make a comment when you come on so that I know Facebook is working the way it should be and not being wonky like it has the last couple of days? Hey, Leslie, I'm so glad you're here. All right, Leslie's here. I know we're working. So my name is Jennifer Allwood. I own a decorative painting company in Kansas City called The Magic Brush. I teach women how to create a beautiful home and build their creative businesses. And when I was getting ready to film a podcast this morning, I'm actually filming two for my podcast show, The Jennifer Allwood Show. And I'm like, why don't I do this on a live? And so I'm going to show you guys, before I start my podcast, how you set up a podcast. Because for some of you business people who own your own creative business, I want to just encourage you to just dream so much bigger than the craft that you have, okay? Often your craft is your catalyst. Okay, you're not supposed to stop just making signs or making wreaths or making earrings or doing cookies or wreath making or furniture painting or whatever. You're not supposed to stop there. That's just what's going to get you in front of people, and you actually have this whole other thing waiting for you on the other side. Okay, so somebody tweet that. Your craft is usually your catalyst. I have always known in the 17 years that I've owned this business that my business was never really about painting. And it's really fun when you start getting that gut feeling like, I think there might be something else to this business thing. And a lot of you are supposed to be more than just a maker. I mean, being a maker is amazing, but a lot of you have a platform online that you're not fully stepping into yet because you're scared. And that's actually what the podcast I'm going to be recording today is about. So tune in and take notes. And hi, Vicki, Sylvie. Oh my gosh, my favorite assistant on the planet is here. Vicki, I'll be done in a couple hours, and then we're going to go down to Restoration Emporium. I promise I won't talk too long. I have this podcast to film and one more. And so anyway, so some of you have other things coming up for you. And you're like, well, there's no way I could do a podcast because what I do is visual. Okay, but you could talk to people on a podcast about what it is that you do. And you could talk about the business side of things. You could talk about the emotional side of things. So I got an email the other day if somebody said, okay, how do you even start a podcast? And let me just tell you a couple things, all right? First of all, you have to have some people smarter than I am to kind of walk you through some things. I have a podcast company in New York City that most of the time, 99% of the time, has filmed me doing the podcast in the mornings. Okay, so I do this about once a week. You can find my podcast on your podcast app on your cell phone. So if you have an iPhone, download the free podcast app and then just look for the Jennifer Allwood Show and you'll see it there. Okay, and so also you can go to my website and there's a thing at the top that says podcast. So this is my first time filming myself, and we try to reuse the content as much as possible. Some creative people, some business owners are like, I gotta come up with new stuff all the time. No, you don't. You just have to record things and put things into a package that's different. Does that make sense? So literally, I'm looking at my computer screen right now. I have opened up Zoom. Robin, thank you for listening to all my podcasts. And I'm recording my face, okay? So I am a guest instructor on the Wooditch Network. If you go to the wooditchnetwork.com, you'll see me as a professional business person there. And so we use this podcast on the Wooditch Network, okay? I also use this podcast on the podcast app, but then I have it on my website with show notes under it. And so some of you need to quit thinking of, you've got to have this much knowledge. No, you don't. You got to have this much knowledge, something that you're really good at, and then you can take your knowledge and you can rework it and serve it up in different ways to different audiences. Does that make sense? Nancy, I can't back the camera up, babe. I can't back that camera up. Sorry, it's on a tripod and it won't go back any further. And so one of the things I'd like to mention, creative people, this is so important, okay? This is not a creepy thing either, but I pay so much attention to my personal energy level. Oh, Nancy, don't be sorry. Mwah, mwah, I love you. You don't have to be sorry for anything. unless you're calling me fluffy, and then you owe me an apology. And if you saw my Facebook post last night, I did eat so much sugar. It was ridiculous. And I got to figure out why, when I get super stressed out, do I want to go back to chocolate? Because I've done so good for so many months. So anyway, your energy level as a creative person is key in your business. Okay. It's key. It is such an important thing to me that I know that my energy level is highest in the morning. What is this saying? People are either a rooster or an owl. Okay, Mr. Magic, total owl. In the morning time, if he had to come on and record himself, he'd be like, "Wah, wah, wah." You know, sorry, baby, if you listen to this later, which you won't because you're not on Facebook. But he, in the morning, he's like grumpy and he's meh, you know, and don't talk and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so in the morning, I'm like, oh, the birds are chirping. So in the morning, when I have a high energy level, is when I want to do things like this, where I'm recording myself. All of you creative people have that same exact thing. Crystal, it's from the Gypsy Ranch Boutique online. They're my fave online boutique right now. And so when is your energy level highest? I would love to know, but for me, it's in the morning. So in the mornings are when I'm going to do a podcast. In the mornings are when I'm going to record all of my training videos for my 200 women in my coaching program. In the mornings are when I do all the hard stuff. Energy levels are so important. And again, this is not a creepy thing. Okay. I'm not like into energy that I just like to know when people feel best because they perform best. So I've actually got a live event for all the women in my coaching group in Kansas City in October. And that if, by the way, if you are in my coaching group, you get an invitation to. But energy levels are so important to me that I've already asked like one of my guest instructors, okay, when is your energy level highest? Because I don't want to ask her to speak to potentially 200 women in the afternoon if she is a morning person like me and she's dragging by 2 o'clock. Does that make sense? So you need to know your energy level. So let's talk about what you need for a podcast. You're on my Facebook Live class. You know that I have a Diva ring light attached to my thing right here. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. Oh, Lord have mercy. No, you cannot break. Hang on, hang on. What did I just do? Did I yank it that hard? Am I not even aware of my superpowers? Okay, so this is a Diva ring light, okay? So this is my face without a light on it. This is my face with the light on it. Please, Jesus, let that not break again, because I don't really know what I just did, girls. I shouldn't have showed it to you, because everything was going hunky-dory before I showed it. Oh, that'll be okay. So I have a Diva ring light on my face. I make sure I eat right before I record a podcast, record any sort of a training. Literally, I'm not even joking, hard-boiled eggs and a banana. I just snarf those down because in addition to your energy level, you need to be supplemented with plenty of food before you're going to record something like this. I make sure I have a cup of coffee and some water, both sitting here. I always touch up my lipstick and stuff. I'm just telling you the whole thing. Like some of you are going to get bored and want to drop off. That's totally okay. This is not for you. But I am going to be recording here in about 5 minutes. So I make sure I've got lipstick on since they are recording my face. I make sure I've got a Kleenex handy because for those of you who have ever gone live on Facebook or something, and I talked about this on my Facebook Live class, you know that you have to just have stuff available to you, okay? I always have hand lotion. I've got a couple of little weird things that I do when I'm recording. I always like to have lotion on my hands, and I always have Deep Relief, which is like a essential oil on. I don't know why. It makes me feel better. I don't know why. And then we're going to do some testing, okay? So for today's podcast, because I'm filming it visually, I'm going to use a little headset, okay? I'll show you my big headset and all my equipment here as well. But let me get my headset plugged in. So I'm literally sitting in front of my PC. Okie dokie. And I'm going to just put in little earphones. If I was not recording my face, okay, so I have a couple podcast guests, you guys, coming up that you're going to freak over, okay? I have Brittany Hayes next week, who is Addison's Wonderland. Do you guys know who she is? Oh my gosh, major. So for her, we're not going to be recording our faces. And so I'll wear this big set because the audio will be stellar. But these are ugly to do when I'm doing my face. So there's the name brand. Somebody pronounce that. Somebody pronounce that. I don't know what that is. Let me try it. Sennheiser. We're going to say Sennheiser. All right. This is what I use for my mic. Okie dokie. It is a blue Yeti mic, and the mic is what's going to make sure that my audio is really good as well. This drowns out a lot of noise. Right now I have windows open. I just recently heard the neighbor mowing, and God bless your lawnmower, but I'm hoping that that doesn't get picked up on the audio. I know, Kari, because I have the thingy majig backwards, dang it. So anyway, so I'm going to do a mic test real quick here. I do all of my podcast recording inside of Zoom. And if you don't know what that is, that's what all of my coaching program is done through Zoom. It's amazing. But you guys do have, we all have like a sound recorder on our PC. And so I'm going to go over to my sound recorder, and this is going to be so much fun. And in about 5 minutes here, I'm going to start recording myself. In about 5 minutes here, I'm going to stop talking to you guys and just be talking here, but you're going to want to listen to the topic, because what I'm talking about is why as entrepreneurs, we shut down and we shrink back when things get tough, okay? So there, I'm stopping my recording, and I'm going to call this test, and if you'll give me just 30 seconds here, I'm going to make sure that the audio sounded okay, because there's nothing worse than recording something and going back and being like, and you recorded nothing. And you recorded nothing. So hang on. Where's my recording? Where did I save it to? Test 2, right here. Hang on. Oh, that sounds really good. Hang on, let me turn this off. Hang on, so you can hear it. Entrepreneurs, we shut down and we shrink back when things get tough, okay? So there. Okay, let me play that again. That sounded really good. Hang on. In about 5 minutes here, I'm going to stop talking to you guys and just be talking here, but you're going to want to listen to the topic, because what I'm talking about is why as entrepreneurs, we shut down and we shrink back when things get tough, okay? So there. Okay, cool. So the sound is working great, and the recorder is working great. All right, so I test off all of those. I try to make sure that I turn off anything noisy, but I do have Christian music always playing in the background. If you guys strain, you can probably hear it. I clean off my desk, because creative people, we are such squirrels. And so if I have stuff sitting here that's like work and it catches my eye, then I'm like, maybe I need to do that. and it just is distracting. I also make sure everything is shut off on my computer as not to distract me as well. Okay, so let me get Zoom back up here. My sound recorder is going, and give me just 30 seconds here, my friends. Okay, what else? I make sure my phone is turned off. I make sure I've tinkled. Let's be really honest. And anytime you're going to be recording yourself for the next hour and a half, that's imperative. All right. Let's see. I'm going to pray real quick, and then I'm going to actually get started, and you guys can just listen into the whole thing. So, Father God, and this is what I do every time. I pray before I start. Lord, I just pray that you would anoint the words that I say today, Lord, that exactly the right people would hear the podcast at exactly the right time in their career. Lord, I pray that you would just speak through my lips, Lord, that I would be obedient to the things that you want me to say, that I would share my story and my testimony as a way to encourage other women. I pray that you help me give other women ideas and tips for how they can grow their business to be a blessing to both their families and to others. And I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so everything's ready to go. I'm sorry that when I'm going to be talking for the next like 30 to 45 minutes, I'm literally going to be looking at my screen and not you guys. So you're going to see like my turkey gobbler for the next 30 minutes. And I'm sorry. I don't even know what to do with that. To you ladies in your 30s, let me just tell you something. Speak nicely to your neck. Be nice to your chin area. Because I don't know what happens when you hit like 45. You get like this and you get like this. And you're like, where the heck did that come from? I don't know. I don't know what just happened. And so sorry that you guys get to see this for the next 30 minutes. Okay, do me a favor. For those of you who are going to listen to this and watch this live, because I'm literally going to be talking at the screen the whole time. If I look over here, I'm going to get totally distracted. So do me a favor, and as people are coming on and they're saying, what is she doing? Why is she not looking at us? Will you guys let them know that I'm recording a podcast? That would be super, super helpful, okay? And let's see. I think that I am ready to start. So it's always scary to start. It's only scary for the first couple seconds, though, I promise. I'm going to try to move my light one more time and hope that it doesn't break. I don't know what I just did to it, but I don't like it. Oh my gosh, you guys, seriously, no, what have I done? I've used this light for over a year. I go to show you, and I somehow, there's a screw. Okay, hang on. Oh, you know what? I saw a screw laying here a second ago. Hang on. And I was trying to pick up my desk because we are showing our house today. No, it's not on the market. There, that's what that screw was from. Because I'm like, there's a screw on my desk. And our house is not on the market, but we have somebody that wants to see it. So, hang on. That has to be better. Lord, make it work like it's supposed to. I'm breaking all my stuff. This is typical, though. Okay, that's better. Yay. All right, so I know that looks really bright, but it looks really good there. Okay, woohoo. All right, so here we go. By the way, this was an encouragement that I gave in my inner circle group of women this week, and this is something that you creative people need to hear, all right? So we are going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Jennifer Allwood Show. I'm so super excited that you are here with me again this week. Thank you for tuning back in, and I hope that what I'm about to speak on today will encourage you in whatever stage that you are in your business, because this is a really important topic, okay? So we're going to talk today about why business owners, and in particular, female creative business owners, have a tendency to both shrink back and shut down at different stages in their business, okay? And so let me give you just a tiny little like overview of most creative people, all right? Most of us are tender. All right. Most of us creative people are feelers. We get our feelings easily hurt. Sometimes we have to make sure that we don't get easily offended. We are people pleasers the majority of the time. The reason we're people pleasers is because when you're a maker, all right, when you're a maker and you're putting your stuff out for the world and hoping that they're going to purchase it, you're trying to please your clients. So it's impossible not to be a people pleaser almost and a really serious creative person at the same time. And so a lot of us creatives are introverts. Maybe you guys have heard my podcast on being an introvert. And so for all of those reasons, we have a tendency when some things come up in our business to shrink back and to shut down. And I want to talk to you about some of those things today, okay? So let's talk about what shrinking back looks like, all right? Because you're maybe like, I don't shrink back. I don't know what you're talking about. But it's funny, I was using this visual with the women that I teach in my coaching group the other day. And I was talking about shrinking back, like almost like when you see a puppy that's been swatted too much by someone who hasn't taken good care of their animal. And so you know how the puppy just gets like head shy and they just get to where they like shrink back sometimes when people are approaching them. Well, the same thing happens to entrepreneurs all the time. And it's a lot of times the 4 things, I'm going to talk about 4 reasons that we shrink back and shut down. And it's oftentimes those things that make us shrink back and shut down that actually make us just hang up the business altogether, because we can't seem to get over those hurdles because we're tender and we're people pleasers and we're feelers and we're introverts. And so I want to talk to you today about the 4 reasons people shrink back, and then give you solutions to how you can get past those things. Because if you're going to run a business at all, these things are going to happen. Like it's just going to happen. And so my job today is to prepare you for it so that when it comes, you're like, okay, I'm not surprised. And Jennifer warned me that there'd be days like this, and this is what I'm going to do to get over it. Okay, so take out a pen and paper if you're a note taker, and note takers are history makers, and we're going to get started. Okay, so the number 1 reason, and these are not in any particular order, but number 1, this is a great reason why so many business owners shrink back, okay? They think there's no space for them anymore. They think that they don't understand how they can possibly fit in when there's 5 million sign makers already, when there's 3,000 people have painting businesses and painting groups online. Like, how can they possibly add to the conversation at all? And so maybe you can totally relate to what I'm talking about. You know, when there's so many books read, is there anything for a writer to even continue writing about? When there's so many bloggers out there, do we really need one more blog? And so often what happens is we get stuck in this thing where we're like, I just don't have anything to add to the conversation, and we mistakenly think that there's no room for us. And I just want to tell you that that is such a lie. First of all, okay, there is room enough for everyone on this playing field, and every day that you continue thinking that there's no room for you is a day that you are continuing like putting off the destiny for you and your business. And so here's the key that we have to remember when we're thinking, what can I possibly add to the conversation on painting or making or blogging or whatever your business is, all right? Only you can do whatever you're doing the way that you're doing it. And only you can deliver your skill to your audience the way that you are. I talk all the time in my inner circle coaching group to the women about the reason people buy from you often is not because you have the best piece of painted furniture. It's often not because they think that you're the most talented at what you do. It's because they know, like, and trust you. Okay, write that down. So anytime that I'm going out into the Kansas City and community and I'm bidding a cabinet job, for example, I have gotten a lot of cabinet business, not because I'm the cheapest bid that they got. A lot of times they'll tell me, you are actually higher than the other person who we had come out and bid the cabinets, but we're going with you just because we feel like we've developed a relationship with you. Okay, so if you guys have a business and you are doing what I've instructed you to do, like in my Facebook Live training, then what I want to make sure you're doing is building consistent, constant relationship with your followers. All right, so that means coming out from behind your Facebook page. Quit hiding behind your page. You guys have this cell phone, and you don't really want people to know on your business page that you're actually the face behind it. Well, you can't get them to know, like, and trust you unless you come out from behind that page and actually do a selfie every once in a while. Do a selfie. Try it. It's going to be uncomfortable for 20 seconds. You need to actually give people a little bit about your life, your family, your hopes, your dreams, your story, your testimony on your social media so that people can start to relate to you. Because then when you present them something that you're selling, a sign, a wreath, a whatever, first of all, they're not like taken off guard, like, who's this showing up in my feed that's got something for sale? And second of all, a lot of times they'll buy from you because they know, like, and trust you. Okay, so you do have something to add to the conversation because only you can add it in a way that's you. You're the only you that there is. Okay, so number one, quit thinking there's no space for you, because there is. You can add to the conversation. The number two reason that people will often shrink back, shut down, run the other direction in their business is because they begin to get resistance. Okay, so we're going to talk for a little bit here about resistance. Resistance is such a huge topic, and often people, they didn't even realize that that's what it's called, is resistance, but that's what I call it. Okay, so here's what resistance can look like in a business. Maybe you're not getting any sales. Maybe you don't have any clients. Maybe you have some down months where you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore because this entrepreneur journey is too up and too down. I have serious high months financially and serious low months financially. Maybe resistance comes in the form of you don't have a lot of people supporting you, or you have people telling you, that what you're about to do is ridiculous. Well, I want to talk to you for just a second about why you get resistance from a spiritual perspective, okay? Any of you who have followed me for any length of time, you know that I'm a believer. I love Jesus with all my heart. And so there's such a spiritual component to resistance. All right. So if we look at scripture says the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. All right. That means he wants to steal all of your ideas for your business and steal your dreams. He wants to kill off any hope for you growing that thing at all. And he wants to destroy your faith. And he wants to destroy your confidence in going forward in your business. And why does he want to? I want you guys, again, to take your business more than what it just is today, okay? You're looking at this little tiny business that you've started growing and that you've put online, and I need you to think bigger than that, all right? So I know that every time my business grows, I have to hire more people. I need a bigger team. So let me give you an examples, okay? Today I have 4 women out in Kansas City who are painting for me in a client's house. Whenever I get more business, I have to add more women. I had 10 women working for me for 5 months last summer on a huge project, okay? What a blessing. But anytime that your business grows, you're gonna need more help. My business cannot continue to grow online without me having a team. I have a podcast team. I have 2 virtual assistants. I have a personal assistant. I have a web designer. I've got somebody that's developing my next course with me. And so there's all these people that I have to hire. Well, when I can hire other people, what a blessing that is to them and to their family. Now, I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back, because you're missing the point. The point is, anytime your business grows, you're going to end up blessing other people because you're going to have to hire them. And the enemy don't want that either. He doesn't want that next family to have any more income. He wants them to stay stuck too. Okay. And so resistance comes from a complete spiritual point. And resistance is usually a really great sign. If you can quit looking at resistance like, well, clearly, since nobody's buying anything and nobody's giving me a whole lot of encouragement here, this must be a sign that I'm on the wrong path and I need to hang this up. No. Look at it differently. Change your perspective. Resistance is actually a really good sign of you're onto something here. When you start getting a lot of pushback from people and you start getting a lot of resistance and you're like, it feels like you're hitting a lot of brick walls in your business, usually that's a really good sign, because the enemy does not mess with people who aren't going anywhere, friends. He don't care. When your business is just kind of lollygagging around and you're not trying to do anything different, you're not going to get a lot of resistance. And that's key for you guys to understand. When you start branching out and doing other things, and there's a possibility that your business is going to really grow in a certain area, you will get resistance. You will. And so you need to look at that thing and you need to remember, okay, I see what's happening here. Like, I totally have got this. I'm not surprised. And this is a really good sign that I'm on a really right path. Okay. So don't shut down when you feel that resistance coming, because we all get it. And it's like Joyce Meyer says, new level, new devil. Okay. Anytime you're about to switch levels, both spiritually and in the natural in your business, you will feel resistance. It's normal. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You have all these other people who need to be hired from you at some point who are counting on you, and they don't even know it, but they're counting on you to keep going. If I had quit when I wanted to a year and a half ago online, and some of you know that story, about how I had 3 months where I sucked my thumb and thought, Lord, this is too stinking hard. I'm going back to just painting full time because this is too stinking hard. I'm so glad now that I didn't, because I just had my very best month in sales ever. I made more in 1 month than I've made in a year in other jobs. And so I'm telling you that if you can get past the resistance stage, there is such great things on the other side of that, including you blessing so many other people. And so keep going, okay? Number three reason that people often shrink back and shut down is because you start getting judgment. All right, let's talk about this for a second. This one's the painful one. Often we can wrap our head around the fact that, okay, I have something to add to the conversation. And we can also grasp the fact that, okay, I'm getting resistance and I just need to keep going. But the judgment one is the one where most people are like, forget it. I'm going to just hang up the towel. Let me tell you what judgment often looks like, okay? Judgment often comes in the form of people who we're close to, who are often really well-intentioned, and they think they're looking out for your well-being. And so they say things that sting, and you're like, what the heck? And it's the judgment from those people that can be piercing, okay? So family often and friends who are really well-intentioned. They don't mean to say things that feel like you're being judged, but often it'll come out in things like this. Well, do you really think people are going to buy that from you? And you're like, what the heck? Well, do you really think that that's a good idea to quit your day job? Okay, I'm scared enough the way it is, and now you're adding to it. Well, what are you going to do about a 401k? Well, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out when I get to that bridge. Okay. So those are all things I've heard from coaching clients in the last couple of months. And the things that people are saying to you, they don't mean for them to be judgmental. You're just internalizing them that way. You're feeling them that way. Remember what we talked about at the very beginning? Creative entrepreneurs, we're such feelers. And so we can often read into what people are saying. And this is a time when we need to show so much grace, okay? When we need to show so much grace. And the other thing is, we need to have so much wisdom at this point. It is wisdom to not share all of your business ideas and goals and dreams with everybody that's you're close to, with everybody in your inner circle. It's wisdom. You know your Aunt Sally's going to say something. She's going to say something. Your Aunt Sally is very opinionated. Don't tell Aunt Sally that you're about to quit your job because you feel like the Lord is prompting you to start your own business. Aunt Sally's going to tell you you're crazy, okay? And then you're going to go home and you're going to think maybe Aunt Sally's right, okay? God bless Aunt Sally, but you need to not share so much of what's on the horizon with the people who might unknowingly shoot holes in that thing, okay? So let me take myself as an example. I have the biggest launch of my career online coming up in June. There are not a lot of people in my world that I'm sharing that with, because I have enough of my own self-doubt. I got enough head work to do, right? I got enough. The jump from being here in your business to being here in your business, it isn't a jump in skill, you guys. It's a jump in the head game. 90% of where your business is going to go happens right here between your ears. And it's your job as an entrepreneur to protect your mind and to guard your heart, is what the Bible says, so that you are not opening yourself up to all the judgments of other people who aren't trying to be jackwagons. They're not. They're not trying to wound you. They think that they're trying to be helpful and helping you think of what could potentially go wrong in the future. Don't give them that opportunity. Just don't share so much. There's wisdom in fewer words, okay? Fewer words, all right? The other way you're going to get judgment is very quite possibly and probably from the online world. It happens. It can be the online world with people you know. It can be the online world with complete strangers. Look, people are keyboard warriors anymore. They get a hold of this thing, they get a hold of a keyboard, and boy, they get cocky. And it's amazing what people will comment and say about another business online, okay? Let me first of all just tell you that God doesn't bless that. God doesn't bless that. And there is no way he's going to bless the business of business owners who are talking about and disrespecting other business owners online. So if that's you, stop it. Stop it. If you want to see God's blessing in your business, you better just not say things when you see other business things going on online that you want to talk about disrespectfully, okay? And so the bigger your business gets, I'm going to tell you just straight up so that you're not surprised when it comes, the more resistance you will see in the online world, okay? Number one, people get catty and jealous. They just do. And unfortunately, it comes out on the keyboard. And you're going to feel like you're back in junior high because some grown adults still act that way. And so just know that it is not about you. When they're saying things about you and your business online, it says way more about them than it does about you. And so I know that you're going to want to read something on, your Facebook page or a blog comment or something, and it's going to sting. I know that, but here's what I do, okay? I'm going to give you the practical, honest to goodness what I do. I look at that comment and I say, Lord, is there any truth to that? No? Okay. Done. Done. Now, there are times when I choose to ban and delete people because ain't nobody got time for crazy, okay? And that's tweetable. If you guys want to tweet that, let me repeat that for you. Ain't nobody got time for crazy. But, so there are situations where you need to ban and delete. If people are just saying mean things about your furniture piece, they are entitled to an opinion. Sometimes their opinions can sting a little bit. And so if you want, say something back. I've actually reached out to a couple people online who have said negative things on my Facebook page, and I've connected with them privately. And there's one, I just had a great story a few weeks ago of a woman that she put something negative on my Facebook page. And normally I don't let that stuff get to me because here's the key. I know the path God has set out before me. I know what he's commissioned me to do. And I know what I know what I need to be doing. All right. And it's going to bring judgment from people. It's going to bring criticism. It's going to bring opinions. All right. But at the end of the day, when I get to heaven someday and God says, Jennifer, I commanded you to do X, Y, Z. I told you to do X, Y, Z with your business. Now, why didn't you? And if my flimsy excuse was, well, Lord, there was some people who were haters on Facebook, and so I stopped. I mean, how is that going to go over, my friends? So you have a job to do, regardless of what people's opinions are about it on social media. You let God deal with them and with their catty remarks, and you keep going, okay? But I did have a woman who, she put a comment on my Facebook page, and it stung a little. And so I commented back in defense of myself. And then later the next day, I was like, Lord, I should not have done that. And I reached out to her privately through Facebook Messenger, and I just said, hey, you commented on my Facebook page. I commented something snarky back. I shouldn't have done that. please forgive me. And it was a couple weeks before I heard back from her. And she said, I can't believe, first of all, that you reached out to me. Second of all, my husband is so shocked that you reached out to me that now he's following your Facebook page. And I shouldn't have made the comment in the first place. And literally we went back and forth. And it was so sweet. And it was precious. And so there is opportunity to win people over. But also you can't stop crazy. Okay. And so sometimes just don't get down into the mud with people. What's that saying that don't get into a wrestling match with a pig because you both get dirty, but only the pig likes it. Okay, that's a good saying, my friends. That's good. That stings a little. That's good. So don't feel like you have to go into and respond to any negative comment. You can determine, Lord, is that true? No? Okay, ignore. And you do not have to respond. And you can ban and delete all the way to the bank. Okay, my friends? Know that the more of yourself that you share publicly on your social media, and by the way, you should be, because it is called social media. So the more you share, the more judgment you will probably get, and the more critical people you will probably get. The more you are walking in your calling that God has put before you, and the more you're walking in truth and standing for something, the more critical people you are going to get. If your message is anointed at all, don't be surprised when people come out with their claws, okay? They only come out if you're standing for something. Stand for something. It's worth it, my friends. I'm promising you it's worth it. And the fourth reason that entrepreneurs often shrink back and shut down in their business is because they feel so vulnerable, right? It feels so vulnerable to do a Facebook Live. And we talked about this in my class, and we talked about how you can get over a lot of those vulnerable feelings. All right. And so vulnerable is something we feel in our business at every level. Here's what I tell the women who are in my coaching program, which, by the way, at the end of this podcast, I'll put a link in the show notes to my coaching program. For those of you looking, go find me on the Magic Brush. It's themagicbrushinc.com and /inner circle, and you'll find where to sign up for my coaching program there. But I tell them at every level, you are going to feel super vulnerable, like you're standing naked on front of the internet, hoping they're going to buy whatever it is that you're selling. It doesn't matter if you have 2,000 people on your Facebook page or 200,000 people on your Facebook page. It still feels like, here I am, somebody like me. It still feels like when you're in junior high and you're hoping to get picked for something, or you're hoping to get invited, to a sleepover birthday party. It still feels like that at every level in your business. And so for those of you who think, okay, once I get to, making $5,000 a month online, or selling 10 pieces of furniture a month, or I have 100 people in my group on the internet, then I'm going to feel like I finally made it. Okay, no, you're not. Because if you're really an entrepreneur, let me just share this little nugget with you. If you're really an entrepreneur, like I wear the hat of painter, I wear the hat of business owner, I wear the hat of blogger, I wear the hat of podcaster, whatever, okay? But my true hat is an entrepreneur. That's it. I can't not do what I do. Like, it's so much in my blood to just try to keep pushing my business to the next level. If you're truly an entrepreneur, even when you do hit $10,000 in sales a month, $20,000 in sales a month, $45,000 last month in sales, even when you do hit that, you still have the very next thing you're going to try for. You still will look at that and be like, woohoo! Now, what else can I do? Because that's how you're wired. And so you're always going to feel vulnerable. You're always going to have that woohoo, but then when you go to release and launch something, you're always going to be like, oh crap, got my fingers crossed that this works. I have no idea. And so remember that this is not going to happen overnight in your business, all right? For those of you who have this thought in your head for some reason that your business is going to go from A to Z quickly, friends, I've been on this journey for 4 years in June. It was 4 years ago, it was like May time, because my kids were just getting out of school that year, and I thought there's got to be a better way. I can't keep killing myself out working in people's houses. The only way I can make more money is by having more women painting in more houses. And Lord Jesus, I do not want to do that. I'm already strung so tight. And it was 4 years ago when I thought there has to be a better way where I can make more money selling things to more people, and so I don't have to be in so many houses all at once, okay? And so it's been a 4-year progression for me. If people are going to tell you you can make 6 figures in the next 60 days, more than likely no. I'm going to tell you the truth. But it is worth it, okay? It is hard, but it's worth it. And I would rather this hard than the hard that I would have if I was trying to struggle through a 9-to-5 job, if I was still stuck in a cubicle every day. This hard I can handle. That hard I would die with. And some of you are wasting away in a cubicle because you have all these creative dreams, but you don't know what to do with it and you don't know what the next step is. Okay, friends, there are resources everywhere to teach you what the next step is. Just go to my blog and start reading articles. And I have tons of things on there about how to start a creative business, all right? And so, you know, it's going to be hard. You're going to feel vulnerable. But as I was telling my coaching group, some of you need to get a little hitch in your giddy up, and you need to get a little finger snap going, and you need to get that thing in your gut that says, I am going to make this stinking business work because I do not want to go back to that 9-to-5 thing or that cubicle jail or that whatever it is. And so understand your why. Understand why you've started a business. What is your business even for? Is it just so that you can sell signs to people, or is there something else? Are you starting a business so that you can have financial freedom in your family in a few years? Because that is an honorable why. And a lot of us creative people feel guilty about that because we feel like, well, God gave me this great gift. I should just be sewing for people for free. Okay, that's ludicrous. That's foolishness. The Bible says that God gives you wisdom to gain wealth, and he's not giving you all this wisdom to gain wealth so that you can go, you know, buy all this material stuff. I mean, he's given you wisdom to get wealth so that you can hire other people. You can be a blessing to other people. You can give more to your church and to your community. There's all sorts of reasons. And so quit feeling guilty about your why being that you want to make and need to make more money for your family. You can totally do that with your craft. Remember what I said at the beginning, ladies, often your craft is your catalyst. It will start with you painting furniture for people. It will morph into something bigger. It will morph into something bigger. You just never know. And so a lot of you are so talented. You're so talented. You're so talented. It's ridiculous, but you're so timid. And I am a soft-hearted, people-pleasing introvert at heart. I promise you I am. And many of you have heard me talk about that on my podcast about being an introvert. But there has to be this part of you that rises up and is like, you know what? I am determined. I am going to make this business work, even when all of these things are happening that make me want to shrink back and shut down. And to go over those 4 things again, just to summarize what those 4 things are, if you're joining us here on the podcast, we talked about why often creative entrepreneurs, we're shrinking back and we're shutting down. Number 1, we feel like there's no space for us. And remember what I said, there's always space. Nobody can deliver it like you can. The same things that I'm teaching people on painting DIY videos on how to paint your kitchen cabinets, those videos that made me $89,000 in the first year of having them online, which seemed insane, that same information people could be finding for free on YouTube. Okay, hear that again. Ain't nothing new under the sun, my friends. Ain't nothing new. It's only the way you delivering it and the way that you've built relationship with your people, and they're going to want to know, like, or they're going to want to buy from people they know, like, and trust. So yes, you can add to the conversation. Reason number 2 is you get resistance. And resistance is always a good sign. Remember that. The enemy doesn't mess with people who ain't going places, who aren't doing something. Reason number 3 we shut down is we start getting judgment. Judgment is normal. Judgment from other people means you're usually on the right path, okay? Judgment is often a sign that you have something really anointed that you're doing. And the last reason was you feel so vulnerable. And what I would say to you is we all feel vulnerable, and it's time for you to just keep going anyway. I mean, I hate to say pull up your big girl panties and keep going, but at the end of the day, that's what it's going to take, because every level in your business, there's going to be more vulnerability, more pushback, more resistance, more judgment. And so you've got to be able to just nail through those humps when they come and do not quit. All right. So remember that what got you here in your business is not going to get you there. All right. If you're wanting things to look different down the road in your business from what they do today, you have to do something different. You have to try something different. It's insanity to keep trying the same thing over and over with no different results. So that is what I wanted to chat with you about today. And I have a reader question. And so I'm going to do my Q&A section today from someone who was on my Facebook page. Her name is Dora Fisher. And Dora, thank you so much for commenting and asking a question that I get to address here on the podcast. And so Dora has a question about her business Facebook page. And Dora says that she cannot get people to share anything from her Facebook page. And that was it. How do I get people to share things from my Facebook page? And I actually loved that question, Dora, because it was such a great, just like short question for me to address. And so I want to address it here on the podcast today. You guys know that I just had a Facebook Live training, which, by the way, we had, well over 300 people take that training class. It was amazing. And so we talked on there about Facebook and about how to get people to engage with your content, because many people are like, my Facebook page is dead. Nobody will comment. Nobody will share things. Okay, so here's some tips for you, all right? First of all, Dora, and I did comment back to you that your Facebook page was not tied to your personal profile. So you commented on my Facebook page, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what Dora does for a living. So I clicked on Dora. I went to go look at your page, and there's nothing there. You didn't link it. So tip number one, for those of you listening to the podcast, make sure that if you own a business page at all on Facebook, if you have a Facebook business page, that if I click on your personal name, that I will be able to see where it is that you work. You're losing a ton of people by not having that link, especially if you are active in a lot of Facebook groups and you're commenting on people's things, and you may, comment on something that people are like, hey, I want to check her out. They click on your face and your name, they try to find your page and they can't find you. So Dora, I know you got that switched, that a girl. All right. So, but here's what I want to say. When people aren't sharing anything from you on Facebook, it's usually because you haven't built relationship with them yet. You're probably just posting things, and you're taking them to your blog. You're showing them what you've got for sale. You're sharing other people's content, but you haven't taken time to build relationship. So how do we build relationship? Well, think about your neighbor. Think about one of your friends. Let's take my friend Samantha just randomly today. I'm in relationship with Samantha. I know what Samantha likes. I know some of the struggles that Samantha has in her life. I know what some of Samantha's favorite places to eat are. We've chatted. We've gone back and forth. Okay, so social media really needs to have that component in it. So many of you are hiding behind your Facebook page and then wondering why people don't engage or buy things from you. And it really is as simple as coming out from behind your page. So I know what you're saying. Well, Jennifer, I sell wreaths, so I just put wreaths on my Facebook page. Okay, well, quit it. Quit it. There's a million wreath pages out there. Start showing people who you actually are, the maker behind the wreaths. Because I know today you think this is all that I'm going to ever want to do forever and ever, amen. And that is not true, especially creative people. We get bored so easy that the thing that we're so passionate about today, 3 years from now, we're going to be like, gross. I don't want to look at another wreath. Does that make sense? I mean, you will as HGTV changes what's hot, and Pinterest changes what's hot, and your likes and dislikes change because we grow as human beings. And oh, by the way, you're a super creative person, and so you get really, really passionate about things, and then you want to never ever see them again. All right, and so the thing that you're passionate about now, you're not going to be passionate about forever. So quit just showing what it is that you make and start showing you as the maker. So Dora, that would be my advice for you. I use this example often in my coaching groups. How many of you have ever been to the mall, or in Kansas City, we have an area called Zona Rosa, which is like an outdoor shopping area. And you're just trying to walk by a store, right? You're just there to shop. You're maybe going to the pretzel place, gonna get you a pretzel. Gonna go into Bath and Body Works, and you're gonna get you a new lilac scented candle, and you're just walking around, but you see somebody on the street corner, and she's holding up a little clipboard. Okay, she's got a little clipboard, and you're walking up to her, and you can see her stopping other people, and you're like, oh no, what's she gonna ask? What's she gonna ask? And then you get to where you're walking by, and she's like, hey, can I ask you a couple of questions? And you're like, no, thank you. No, thank you, not today. Thanks. And you try to put on your I'm really sweet, but no, I ain't answering your questions face. Okay, that's what it feels like when you have built no relationship on your Facebook page and you're asking people questions and hoping they'll respond. When people are seeing your questions, they're feeling like you're that lady with the clipboard, and they're like, I don't know who this person is, ain't gonna answer her questions. So you have to work really hard, Dora, at building a relationship with people, and then when they see your question on your Facebook page. Then they're going to type a comment and give you some engagement back, okay? Make sure you're doing Facebook Lives. If you have not taken that Facebook Live class, it was killer. Go get it today. Go get it today, okay? And that will help your engagement so much on your Facebook page. And so there you go, my friends. That was my Q&A for the day or for the week. If you have a question that you would like for me to address on my podcast, you can simply send us an email to podcast@themagicbrushinc.com. That's podcast@themagicbrushinc.com, and I would love to get some of your questions there. So thank you guys again for being here with me today and listening for another podcast. And I just appreciate you and this creative community so much that we've built. And I'll be back again here next week. So until then, have a good one. Bye-bye. Hang on, my Facebook friends. Bailey, will you edit this at the end to just take off these last few seconds where I'm talking to Facebook and trying to stop my recording here? Got the recording stopped? I've ended that meeting. And now it's like uploading. There you go, guys. Thank you for being here. I have no idea if you guys just listened to that whole thing or not, but so that is how easy it is to record a podcast, honestly. And so sorry that I couldn't give you any attention. Thanks, Marty. I'm so glad that you enjoyed that. But, for those of you, I might need to put this back on. For those of you who are like, oh gosh, it sounds so scary to do a podcast. It ain't scary. Sally, go to the podcast app on your cell phone. If you have an iPhone, just go look for the podcast app. It's free. And then type in the Jennifer Allwood Show, or go to my website, themagicbrushinc.com, and there's a podcast section at the top. And so, yeah, I'm going to record a second one right now on why creative people get overwhelmed and why we suffer from burnout. So I'm going to record that one right now. I'm not going to let you guys sit here and suffer through that. But thank you guys for listening to that. Thanks, Kara. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks, Kendra. That was fun. I'm like, I might as well go live. Brenda, I'm so glad. You know what? That's what a lot of people tell me. They're not even in business and they still enjoy it. So Leanne, I'm so glad God was talking to you through me. That is the best comment that you could post. Thank you. Shannon, I try to relate it to all businesses. It's so funny though, because I feel like my heart is so much for women and it's so much for the creative entrepreneur. And only because I understand how most of your minds work. A lot of us creative people are spazzes. We are bouncing off the walls half the time and just crashed out dead in bed, sleeping the other half the time. And we're so multi-passionate about so many things and we feel like we don't fit in. And for a lot of my life, I have felt like I don't fit in. And I need to talk about that someday. I feel like God's kind of working on a message for me through that. But I can remember, it's not that I didn't have friends and stuff growing up. Oh my gosh, I had so many. But I never knew, do I fit in with the smart kids? Because I'm kind of smart. Do I fit in with the athletic kids? Because I'm kind of athletic. Do I fit in with the popular kids? Because I'm kind of popular. And all of my best friends are really popular. But I never really felt like any of them. Does that make sense? And then when I started in business, I felt like I don't fit in. I don't fit in. Lord, I don't fit in. Like they're all doing it one way and I'm all doing it another. And I don't get invited to the things in my industry. And I feel like, an outsider in this very industry sometimes that I'm in. Well, it's because God had a total different way for me. It's because God didn't intend for me to stay in that industry. And so for some of you who are feeling like you didn't fit in as a child, you don't fit in with your family, you feel like you wish you could kind of be like everybody else just so that you feel like you had a spot. Does that make sense? And I want to give those people a spot. The reason you felt like you haven't fit in is because you just haven't found your people yet. And it makes me want to cry. And so I'm committed to finding those people who are so creative, who think differently, and they feel like they haven't fit in, and it's because they're a business person, it's because they're an entrepreneur, it's because they're wired different than most of them, and I want to give them a really safe place to come and hang out and to be coached, because a lot of them are stinking brilliant. You're brilliant. And you back down and you shut down and you don't share your gift because people have judged and criticized you. And it's my job and it's my duty as someone who's going before you to go, come on, babe, Come with me. I've been right there. I'm going to pull you along and encourage you the whole way because I've been where you're at and you're just supposed to keep going. And I'm sorry people have not been kind to you. Some of them haven't been kind to me either. And we're going to do this thing. We're going to do this thing, okay? Because we have a job to do. And it has nothing to do with the very thing that we're making. All right. So I hope that was for somebody today. Bless you guys. I hope that you've shared this. If you feel like this would be a word for someone that would encourage another business owner, please share it. Please share it. Okay. Nicole, I hit a wall last night. Did you see my Facebook post? Laying in bed with a bag of chocolate. I just worked really hard to lose the 20 or the 30 pounds that menopause added to my booty. And by going sugar-free, and I laid in bed last night like a crack addict. Because I was hitting a wall yesterday. And so the walls are normal. The walls are normal. I love what somebody commented on my Facebook post the other day. And if it's you that put this comment on my Facebook page, just know that it blessed me like crazy. You said, we overestimate what we can do in our business in a year. And we underestimate what we can do in our business in 3 years. And there's no truer words have ever been spoken. The kids are getting ready to be out of school for the year. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had all these things I was going to do this year. And I have only gotten this much of them done. But then when I look back on my business on the last 3 years and I'm like, whoa. I'm a guest instructor in the next couple of weeks for Teachable for their online summit. I'm doing a podcast. I just had my best month in online sales ever. I had a huge launch. I've got another one coming up. I've got so many creative women that I'm coaching. I've got a group of VIPs that I'm coaching one-on-one. I've got my first live event coming in October. And so when I oh gosh, I thought I could do so much more this year, but then when I look back, I'm like, wait, I have done a lot. And you guys need to do the exact same thing in your business. All right. So bless you guys. I'm going to prep here with my notes for the next podcast. Thank you for listening in. You're superstars. All right. Bye.